نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. Every week I have the honor and privilege of sitting with various members of our community to discuss the challenges and the issues that they face in their personal lives. Spiritual counseling is a service offered here at ISNA. And so over the years, as I reflected on the different issues that exist within our community and the different cases that come forward, arguably the most common issue that we see that people come forward to speak about is what might be called interpersonal conflict. Conflict between different people, between spouses, between parents and their children, between siblings, between friends. And so people come to speak about what's going on, what they're struggling with. Now, of course, the benefit that they hope to achieve is to resolve the conflict so that they can live in harmony with the people around them. But this is a really important issue for us to talk about and think about because the repercussions are great. Very often what I've seen is when someone is going through such conflict with a spouse, with a parent, with a child, with a sibling, with a friend, with a loved one, it affects their relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a very common thing to observe. Is someone is going through marital conflict and you start to see them question Allah. Ya Allah, why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? How did I end up in this situation? A parent feels defeated. Ya Allah, I tried my best. Why is my child not on the straight path? A child feels overwhelmed, unheard. Why is it that God gave me these parents who don't seem to understand me or care for me in the way that I need? And so these interpersonal conflicts lead to people struggling in their relationship with Allah. And one of the most common things I've observed as I've watched these conflicts play out, often when couples are sitting there, or a father and a son, or a parent with their child is sitting, and there's a conversation going on, what you notice is that we, generally speaking, do not know how to listen to one another. Meaning we hear the words that the other person is saying, but we don't understand what they mean. We don't understand what they're trying to say and what they're trying to tell us. And really, this is arguably one of the most important skills for any human to develop. The ability to listen. We think it's normal. If I just hear your words, I hear what you say. But one of the most common, sentiments in these conflicts is they just don't get it. I tell them, they don't get it. And you feel helpless because you're telling them, you're using words. You're using all forms of communication to try to get them to understand what you're saying. But all they hear are the words. They're not able to see your pain and see where you're coming from. Yet this is a skill that's not taught in our education system. There is no single class that I know of that is focused on the art of listening, knowing how to listen. Either we just assume people know how to listen, or we don't think it's important. It says something about our civilizational values, that we prioritize someone graduating and knowing how to crunch numbers, but not knowing how to hold down stable relationships. That says something about our society and what we want to prepare people for. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and there are multiple verses I hope to share with you today, where Allah speaks about the importance of listening. Allah ta'ala tells us in the Quran that the Quran itself is a reminder. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ. It's a reminder. When we remind someone, there's something that they're meant to take from that reminder. But Allah tells us, in order for humans to take that reminder, they need to be present with their hearts, and they need to lend an attentive ear. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَى لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ أَوْ أَلْقَى السَّمْعَ وَهُوَ شَهِيدٌ. That in order for us, the reminder can be presented before us, and we can totally miss it. That's why we're all here for Jumu'ah. Some of us will walk away understanding or appreciating or benefiting to, let's say, 90%. And some might walk away with 15%. The khutbah is the same. But our presence, our focus, our ability to try to understand what is being said differs from person to person. Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran, فَبَشِّرْ عِبَادٍ. Give glad tidings to my servants. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Which servants of mine? Those, he says, who listen attentively. And then they follow and they act upon what the best of what they heard. فَيَتَّبِعُونَ أَحْسَنَهُ. Allah uses the verb here, istima'. الَّذِينَ يَسْتَمِعُونَ الْقَوْلَ. This is different than sama', which just means to hear. Istima' is to listen attentively.